This may be new to a lot of people, but when you are in the ark, and by in the ark, you need to first figure out, am I in the ark? If you are working on your kingdom marriage, if you are with your spouse, you are in the ark. Very, very simple. And then I had said 2 years ago, we need to be healing each other. So if you come to the great physician, I'm going to give you a diagnosis. You'll say to me, Lord, it's just a cut. Give me a Band-Aid and I'll be fine. I'll say, no. Beneath that wound, there's a contusion, there's a lesion that is a lesion that is developing. And if you do not pay attention to this right now, it will result in you either having, and by either I mean you will not be able to walk. And then you either believe that diagnosis and you pay attention and start the treatment that I'm giving you, or you don't. So, looking at kingdom marriage in itself, many have learned, same thing I have learned, because I've been, of course, in my prayer time. I've seen these symptoms in my wife for this many years. I've seen how to go about it one of two ways. And a lot of times when God gives me something, it's for learning. It's now you have to witness this. This is what happens when someone does this. This is what happens in this situation. We're coming from a place where people used to start a prophetic word. I feel like the Lord is saying this. And then they jump right into as if they're not speaking in the first person, but it's God Himself speaking through them. Some would say, like now, Lord, like now. To a whole different kingdom of heaven foreclosure on stolen property, stolen finances, stolen moments, stolen spouses, stolen places in the kingdom, stolen wrongs from the perspective of if you can even see that you're the thief in the situation, or if you know for certain you are, if you're walking with that thought process, I know I'm not in God's will, but F it, I'm just going to do it and I'll bounce back or God will help me later. It's not that. You're going to learn really, really quickly that that mentality is going to eventually equal your destruction. And using my own here, I'm not mincing words. My wife isn't going to get any help until she returns back to God's will. So for the last 3.5 years, I've been counseling her and kind of walking us towards this. Now I'm a big boy, so having this situation, people ask, Lord, what is that story? I made a prophet, because I knew this prophet very well, an example of me and my love. And then I had him marry a prostitute, an example of how our relationship, as far as me and my people, was seen by them, how it was seen by me. So I have the same exact marital situation. And then the prophet prayed, obeyed, and then somebody bought his prostitute, and then he had to deal with all of the emotions that came with that. So One thing about the prayer of the righteous availeth much is when things start happening in someone's life, someone usually is praying for them or praying about a situation, and then us, me and my Heavenly Father, because I'm in son mode, already have known everything that was gonna happen in its time. It happens, and then you have to deal with, especially after judgment. I would tell people all the time, I'm gonna shatter this person, and then you're gonna pick up the pieces. So this isn't really new to me. The simple fact in my marriage is just this has been the strangest. Some may look at my wife as if she's psychotic at times. She has the ability to appear to have a sound mind. She has the ability to be spoken to, because there are many reasons I married my wife, not just being in love with her. I still am. But I also understand it's not for me as far as the marriage. It's not all about me. It's also, if I say my wife or I say she, somebody else has a she and it resonates and make it the same. Okay, so that's what's going on with my wife, possibly. If you see the similarities and it points you back to the scripture and increases your faith, then that's a good thing. Priorities in the kingdom of heaven. If the marriage was all about you and how you felt about things, and then you had the ability to say, Lord, I'm stepping back from this. This is a mess. I don't want anything to do with it. Well, that doesn't sound like me, does it? Now, I had never really comprehended someone that loved Jesus would fight Jesus to the extent she has. But I also understood this generation and this age has also produced an ego in people. And the difference between this new thing I'm doing, the new heaven, the new Jerusalem, and an ego driven, but pushed from a spiritual power, and people act like demons don't have some type of spiritual ability to make you see things, hear things, form thoughts in your mind that make sense to you. And that's not seen as supernatural by their victim. And how the person with the ego sees themselves as the victim a lot of times, whereas in the kingdom of heaven, you are left without excuse, especially when you have my prophets, watchmen, all of this evidence. There's still going to be one truth. Expansive as it may be, based on different people's situations, is why we have the kingdom of heaven and the ark at this moment. So if you're not in the ark, you're going to be dealing with this, a lot of this. And then tormenting thoughts. It's going to get bad for the next 5 months, i.e., there's nothing really to do right now for the next 5 months. Because that's what's going to produce the harvest, because God is always good. This is seen as a good thing in our eyes. It was either let it get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, or step in and say, hey, you need triage, and this is what's going on. And you may not have known you were wounded. Having my prophets and my kingdom spouses and all of these words in the English language that can be utilized as I give them to you makes it possible. When you're looking at your promised land, and those of you that have walked with me for a while understand there's probably going to be some giants. You probably might view your kingdom marriage as this is just a dark mess that I want no part of. And then you know me, I'm walking it out with you in the same situations. And what I tell me a lot of times, let it play out, and then you let it play out, and then you address it as it comes. That strengthens your faith, and many of you would not have any inclination that you had anything to do with me unless you were in this situation. So you start somewhere, but you also understand your options, life or death. Abide in me and I will abide in you. When you don't understand the fragility of the little bit of faith that you did allow yourself to possess based on how much you want and what's going on, it's that much easier for you to be deceived. I won't entertain a lie because the truth is so much more. Like, that's what you think I'm doing in your life. That's what you think I may have allowed. Here is the truth. And then the truth is usually, since it's my mind, the mind of Christ, and what I was thinking and doing is far from what you could even imagine or perceive was actually going on. So when you're looking at someone and they're in sexual bondage, and you've let the devil exhaust all of the devil's lies, but you still have the mentality of, I still have words that hold life. My words are a spirit. My word will accomplish what I send it out to do. It will not return void. When you have the mentality of, well, where can I go? He is who he says he is. He really is God. Where else can I go? Then you're walking in truth. And one thing in your kingdom marriage that you're going to want is truth in your spouse. Otherwise, nothing's going to come to fruition if there's no truth in your spouse. And without the return to what you left, then you have no real faith building moment of, God did this for me because I was obedient. Then you're seeing the value in Ecclesiastes, where it basically says it is not possible to enjoy life and be happy without God. Once that's solidified, then you're going to have true hope. Until then, you're just going to be in this position. So if you're reading the Bible, I'd point it out to you. Same thing. So I love you.